Thanks for tuning into Heavy, where we bring you the latest interviews with local, national and international artists. Today's victim is...
This is Viktor from Brymir, and we are just about to release our new album, Voices in the Sky.
Beautiful. Victor, thanks for joining us today, mate.
Thanks for the invitation.
All right, mate. So as you say, Brymir are preparing to unleash your fourth studio album, Voices in the Sky, on August 26th, which is only a couple of days away. So firstly, tell us about the album musically, mate, and what you were going for with it.
Yeah, this is an interesting record for us because we found a lot of new ways to kind of express ourselves. And it feels like we found kind of our sonic identity by kind of going back to our roots a little bit and exploring like this, a bit more of these folk metal elements that we had almost abandoned in our previous record. And we also kind of took this new approach that we are leaning less on keyboards, because we used to be a band with a keyboard player as a member, and that the writing was for years, still in that kind of vein. So now we wanted to express everything we can with the instruments that we have on stage, like all the lead melodies and stuff like this are with vocals or guitar leads. So yeah, we managed to reinvent ourselves by just simplifying things, which is really cool.
Yeah. And the album actually opens up with a title track, which starts with an acoustic guitar intro, which is an interesting way to open it. Like, what chose to open the album with that song?
Well, I think the song is kind of a nice average of our sound and our new style, and it shows some of the sides that are fresh, and it also shows many elements which are inherently Brymir. And also we wanted to introduce them with a acoustic guitar thing to kind of immediately plant the idea that we are a Nordic folk inspired melodic death metal band, because this kind of acoustic guitar sound that from already way back from bands like Dissection and this classic Swedish, Finnish melancholic melodic death metal bands. It's a really like traditional instrument to express certain things, and we wanted to include in our music a bit stronger.
And the album closes with an almost 8-minute epic track called All Is One. So tell us a bit about that.
That's actually the oldest song on the album by far. It was originally written, I think, as far back as 2012.
Wow.
So it's really old. Our bass player wrote it back then, we couldn't find a way to produce it, because it had this really ambitious orchestral arrangements, and it was a really dramatic song. And we tried to make it for our second album, and we didn't manage. And then we tried again for our third record, and even then it was too hard. And then this time we were like, okay, we need one more song, but hey, let's try this one more time, but let's do it in a way that we just skip most of the theatrical orchestral bullshit, and just do it with like we had this approach for this record, like let's focus on the drums, guitars, and vocals. And apparently this was exactly the thing to do. So we've been overthinking it for 10 years, and now we just, okay, this works, just cut the crap, and just go as it is, and it turned out amazing.
And you also feature a cover of Dark Funeral's Diabolus Interim. So why choose that song to cover?
When our drummer joined the band in 2012, Dark Funeral was one of the bands that we really bonded over. Like, it was one of them. I seen one of his Dark Funeral covers on YouTube, really fast drum. I was like, oh my God, that dude, I want that dude to play with us, that he's so great. And we really bonded over this passion for extremely fast, evil black metal. And me and Patrick have been talking about covering Dark Funeral for years, just as for fun, just for us. And now we saw an opportunity to do it with a budget and a proper production, and also it fit the album really nicely. We have always had some kind of black metal influenced songs on the record, and this time none of the demos we had made it onto the album that were in that style. So we wanted to keep something that still shows that we're still we're really into that stuff.
Very cool. And how about the title Voices in the Sky? Does it have any specific significance?
Yeah, it's Voices in the Sky relates to the great names in metal, the metal legends whose voices will forever echo in the halls of heavy metal history. And the song is about our desire to And they're like, yeah, the idea behind the song is that we want to join those guys. You know, we want to go on tour with them. We want to drink beers with them in the tour bus and rock out every night. And, you know, and if we grind hard enough, then one day we will also become, you know, voices in the sky.
That's so cool. I love it.
So it's basically, yeah, it's a song about touring.
Cool. And you personally, mate, like you act as frontman, writer, and producer for the album. So, how difficult is it for you to take on so many roles at once?
Well, of course, it's difficult because you're so exposed to your own material for a long time, like from the initial demo phase through, you know, practicing production and yeah, it's you expose yourself to these songs like to thousands and thousands of repetitions, and it's easy to lose objectivity of what you're doing, and, you know, actually coming, you know, understanding when something is good enough or when something is finished. But this is the third time we do it like this, that we self-produce the album, and you learn kind of tricks to cope with this thing that you know, for example, I learned from Wings of Fire, our third album, that I listened to the demos too much. Like every time I was in the car or, you know, at home, walking anywhere, just listening and making notes. So I overexposed myself. And now with this album, I learned that don't waste the songs for yourself, because every time you listen to it, it burns, you know, it burns a bit, you know.
Yeah.
Now it's just, okay, let's just don't look back too much, don't look at it too much, just go forward, you know, and when something is good enough, just leave it. So yeah, it's learning these coping methods, but I'm not sure. And I say this every time I do this, I produce my own music, I say never again, but I can almost promise you that in 2 years, you will find me again in the same situation, like, fuck, I did it again, you know, and I'll never do it again. That's bullshit.
So we touched on this before, mate, but your music blends folk and classical metal with melodic death metal. So how hard is it for you to find that actual balance between those styles of metal and the music?
It comes really naturally, because everything that comes out is based on stuff that has gone in previously. So like me and the band, we've been listening to folk metal, power metal, black metal, and death metal, and also other genres like actual folk music and classical music. We've always been listening to this, and we're like, this is what flows in our veins, this style. So when you open the tap, this shit just flows out. and I rarely, you know, really think about, okay, now I'm gonna do a song in this style or that style, but it just comes together this way. It's like, I don't know, I kind of live and breathe this mix of genres. It comes really naturally for me.
Very cool. All right, mate. Well, thanks very much for your time today, Victor. Voices in the Sky is out this Friday, August the 26th. So get behind it, brother, and best of luck.